What's going on, guys? Welcome to week 2 of the Playbook with Joey and Zach. Hope it's been a good week for you all. You're listening to WZBC AM Sports Radio, and we're excited to bring you another week of Boston sports over the next hour. To start, we're going to be recapping BC football's tough loss this weekend to Syracuse, and we're also going to preview the Friday night Red Bandana game against Virginia Tech.
Later on, we are psyched to be having MassLive.com Red Sox beat writer Chris Cotillo on the show as our very first guest. He'll be on in the next 20 minutes or so to discuss the Sox offseason and future, along with some University of North Carolina football and basketball. After that, we'll be breaking down the Celtics' tough start to the season and try to figure out what is going wrong with them. So we're looking forward to that for sure. If we have time for call-ins, you can text me at 617-596-3150. 617-596-3150. So if we have time at the end, hopefully we could maybe have one or two call-ins,
Absolutely.
depending on the time. So we'll see how it goes for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can hop right into it. Get going with BC football. Tough loss last week at Syracuse, 21-6. It was a close game in the first half and all kind of slipped away in the third quarter. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, it was a hard one. I mean, it's like I went into it not having the highest expectations. I knew Syracuse had a good offense, obviously, but with Syracuse's offense, we knew the run game was going to be an issue, and Sean Tucker had a great game. But I think the biggest thing was they only had 65 passing yards, and they beat you 21-6. It's just like, did you not game plan for the run game? We knew they had a great running attack. So I'm just confused as to how that went. But I mean, we got some pressure. I think we had a sack or two, a couple sacks. So I guess that's something we can build off of, because that was something I was talking about last week, was the defensive line having sacks. So I don't know though. I mean, it makes me worry though. You lose to a game. You lose a game when the opposing starting quarterback only has 65 passing yards. That can't happen. You can't lose a game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, passing defense looked good all night.
Yeah.
It was really just those two plays, the Sean Tucker 51-yard run and then the Garrett Schrader run, too. Those kind of killed us. We really hung on the game, but just no consistency on offense whatsoever. A little bit of controversy, I thought, with that whole 2 QB situation, too. And
yeah,
heard some of Hafley's comments this week about how he hates using 2 QBs, but then he said he might still roll with it. A little confusing for sure, but I think at this point I'd rather just stick with Moorhead. We've lost 3 full games now in a row with Grosel starting, and half a game of Grosel starting now too at Syracuse. So I mean, if it were me at head coach, I'd just put in the freshman, let him work, because he had a couple of good flashes during that game too. That 45-yard pass on Isaiah Flowers, that was nice.
Definitely, yeah. He had a solid game. I think he finished. It says 6 of 15 for 87 passing yards, which, I mean, for what it was worth, I mean, we couldn't really move the ball too much, and he came in and
he was also getting hit every single play.
Yeah, we couldn't move the ball. So I guess,
pass protection.
I guess 87 passing yards is pretty impressive in the short amount of time he was out there. So it was a tough game, though. Yeah, there's no pass protection. We also gave up a punt return. I mean, I know that's not offense, but giving up a punt return touchdown, I mean, that's the worst thing you could do is be
they got
beaten
all
the
3
special
of the
teams.
touchdowns in like 5 minutes probably.
We got beaten every phase of the game, which is the
Can't
problem.
happen.
You can't have
it was
that
just those
happen.
5 minutes changed the whole game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they scored 21 points in the third quarter, and you look at the box
6-0
score, we were up 3-0 at half. So, I mean, at halftime, I thought we were looking all right. And to be only up 3-0, I mean, hey, you'll take that any day of the week, especially if you're not moving the ball. Being up 3-0 is a win. And then, third quarter, that was the killer. I mean, 21 points they scored then, 3 touchdowns. And as you said, in that 5-minute run when they had the quarterback scramble for a touchdown, and then they had the Sean Tucker 50-plus yard run, and then the punt return touchdown. That was all within 5 minutes. And, I mean, the game felt over right after that.
Just kind of demoralized the whole team. Yeah, demoralized me just watching the game. It was just, it really felt like it was over. We get 2 more drives, just nothing happening. Grosel 3-and-out. Grosel actually didn't have any picks in the game, but still, it felt like 3-and-out after 3-and-out on offense. Got a little bit going with the Pat Garrell run game, but the passing game just wasn't really there. Overall, we threw 15 for 32 in terms of completions. That's not a winning stat.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that does come with consistency at QB too, just having one guy in for the whole game, just kind of letting him play.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a big fan of Moorhead, just getting out there and just letting him get comfortable. Because that was his first game too. I was reading the other day, since his senior year of high school, his football season got canceled because of COVID. He hasn't started a game of football since his junior year of high school, and now he's coming in here playing ACC football. So I think at this point, if you're going to let him play, just fully commit to him and let him go out there and get comfortable and do his thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. At the end of the day, I mean, at least we're getting the ball to Zay. Zay had a pretty good game, 6 catches for 116 yards. So I know Moorhead hit him on like a 50-yard pass, and so did also Grosel on another one through about 45. I think they're both about 45, 50 yards, both of them. So, I mean, that's the thing. You never know, how a team's going to play, especially when you have 2 quarterbacks coming. It's really hard to predict what this next week's going to look like against Virginia Tech because you can't
Mm-hmm.
predict, how one quarterback's going to play versus the other. I think going with one quarterback's the best way to play the game, especially from a wide receiver standpoint. I think they'd probably like the consistency, maybe even the offensive line too. And I think even both quarterbacks would probably rather just have one guy go and just fight for the battle, whoever plays better in this game, and see where we go from there. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think having, a switch at quarterback really helps. I'd rather just stick with one guy. Even if it's Grossell, I still think, I know I'm in the minority, I think the defense is still an issue. But
I think the run defense has been an issue. I think the passing defense has been great.
Yeah, against NC State, though, that touchdown, Elijah Jones got to make a play on that one. But, I mean, that's only one play. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, you got to obviously have a good quarterback if you want to win games, especially in the ACC. But from the way it's looked, though, on defense, I mean, they were a lot better. We've had spurts in the past where, you think, oh, the defense is starting to catch up. They're starting to get better again. Like, I mean, against Louisville, we had a couple good stops. But then, Malik Cunningham would run for 30 yards. It's like, you got to get the consistency.
Yeah, we got to stop the big run
defense.
plays. They always get a lot of them against us. The Sean Tucker 51-yarder.
Yeah.
Zonovan Knight from NC State, he had a lot against us. Malik Cunningham.
Yeah.
Russian defense needs some work. Same with getting to the quarterback as well. I think we had 2 sacks in the last game, but the games before we were putting up nothing. We were last in the ACC. Now I believe we're second last in the ACC in terms of getting to the quarterback. And you can't give a guy all day to throw. We're never going to win that way. And passing defense held up well, for sure. But
yeah,
that's something that's got to improve if we want to start to hang in some of these games, especially against a team like Virginia Tech. And we have Wake Forest coming up in a few weeks too at home. That's a guy like Sam Hartman that's in the running for the Heisman right now. You got to be able to get to him.
He's been having a great season. So yeah, that's the thing. I think the defensive pressure is another thing I always talked about. I think we're at about 11 sacks now, 12 sacks. I think we had like 9 last week. I think we've got 2 or 3 this week. How many you get? 2 or 3, I think? 2 sacks. I mean, hey, at least we got, more than what we had in the prior week. So I'll take 2 sacks, all day. Hopefully we make it more this week, have 3 or 4. I mean, sacks change a game, puts them out of position. Maybe a longer punt. Maybe you block the punt. I mean, anything can happen on special teams. So pushing them back is never a bad thing. But you can't push them back, get a sack, and then give up a 51-yard rushing touchdown the next play. Like, that's just... You're not going to win too many games like that, especially when you're playing ACC schools. Against Colgate, UMass, I mean, yeah, you can mess around and get a sack and then give up a 20-yard play because, you're up by 20. Or, against Colgate, we're up by 50.
You also have to force some turnovers, too, on defense.
Yes, yeah.
We gave away a lot of the balls on offense. We had the Levy fumble, Jalen Gill fumble, Moorhead fumbled once. Moorhead one that I think came strictly from poor offensive line play. But, we keep losing the turnover battles in all these close games, and I think that kills us.
Definitely.
We definitely need to start picking up more, whether it's interceptions, getting fumbles, getting to the quarterback is huge.
Absolutely.
Just kind of developing some consistency because it feels like we're hanging every game for the first, second quarter, and then all of a sudden it just falls apart. I mean, NC State, in the end of the first quarter, it was close. Even at halftime, it was...
Yeah. We were still in it.
Yeah, it was a game.
Louisville, too, still a game at half.
Yeah, all these games are still games at half.
Syracuse was 3-0. Us.
Yeah. And then, all of a sudden, second half, the other team just blows it open on us. So,
yeah.
I don't know what that says about the team, whether it's coaching or execution, but obviously some changes need to happen if we want to win. Big Red Bandana game this week.
I think it's a little bit of both. I would say it's a little bit of the offense, in execution, as you said there. I think it's defensive execution. I'd say it's coaching. I think it's a mix of everything. You're not going to lose games in the second half just because of one thing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a team game. You got to play 4 quarters, and playing 2 quarters is never going to get you anywhere. You're not going to win too many games, playing 2 quarters. So hopefully, we fix it, get things figured out, and go from there. But we're trying obviously to fix things on the fly at quarterback and bring guys in and mid-season. Like it's whether it's Moorhead or Grosso, whoever starts this week. I mean, can't keep switching quarterbacks.
Especially not against a team like Virginia Tech. They have one of the better secondaries in the ACC. They've had a couple solid wins this year. Obviously not an ideal season for them. Braxton Burmeister, the QB, though, he's a great thrower, good in his feet, too. They have a couple receivers that can go to the NFL. So I think, defense is going to be huge again. And, I do think we'll be able to hold them to 17, 21, 24 points again, like we've been able to stop all these other teams too. But it's just going to come from consistent offensive play. One of the keys to the game because, we had 6 points last week and then what was it, 14 at Louisville,
14 at Louisville,
10 at
14.
NC State,
28
7 at NC State. Yeah, so we got to start putting up more points because you can't win games putting up 10 points a game in the ACC.
Yeah.
So I think that's everything. Because our defense, I mean, I'll disagree with you. I think it's been all right. Definitely not for us to hang in games. It's just the inconsistency on offense. I think that all starts with, picking one guy at QB and sticking with it. And I hope it's more just because of the way he kind of threw the ball in that first game, even though he was out for an injury with a while. That was his first game in a while. Coming up his first game in college ever. I had a couple nice deep throws too. He had that one, I think it was his first throw of the game, a deep ball to Zay that just went over his fingertips. That would have been a 40-yard. And then the next play, they did a similar route just on the other side of the field. Zay Flowers just went on a streak up for like 45 yards, and he threw a deep seed in there. So, a lot of flashes of potential from him. Made short throws over the middle too. So and he was good in his feet too. He had a couple rushes where he'd go up for the first down. It'd be a 3rd and 5, and he just ran out and took a couple of hits. So he's tough too. So I'm a fan of him, and I think as much as I love Grossell, I think he gives a better chance to win this week. Yeah,
with Virginia Tech coming off a good win, they just beat Georgia Tech 26-17. They, as you said, they got weapons. Malachi Thomas, their running back, was 25 carries of 103 yards. So they can run the ball also, which has been BC's worst nightmare with Sean Tucker on Syracuse, Malik Cunningham, and the running backs they got at Louisville. It's been the biggest nightmare. Has been the rushing attack on all these ACC teams. So that'll be a big question, obviously. And Braxton Burmeister coming off another good game, 15-25 passing for 254 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. He also can run too. He can scramble. So he was 11 carries for 46 yards. So that's another BC has to worry about as a quarterback that can move. He's not as shifty as Malik Cunningham, so I think you got to worry about that. And I think even Schrader on Syracuse might be a little bit quicker. But either way, I mean, having 11 carries for 46 yards, that's something to worry about.
Mobile quarterbacks have been an issue for us this year and last year.
Definitely. And then they got a junior wideout. Trey Turner, who's had a really good season. He's coming off of an ACC Wide Receiver of the Week award. He won that this last week against that game against Georgia Tech. He's 6'2", he can go up and get it, and he had 7 catches for 187 yards and a touchdown. So that's nothing BC's got to worry about. And I mean, it's a very even matchup. You look at the statistics, points per game. I mean, BC averages 25.6 points per game, and they average 24. So they average giving up 22.4 a game on defense, and we give 20.8. So it's very similar statistically. But I think, at the end of the day, if we don't show up to play, this game could get ugly just like NC State. Any game can get ugly. You got to come out and be good in all 3 phases of the ball. And I know last week, honestly, in every week now, the past 3 or 4 games, we haven't been winning in any of the phases of the game.
There's been a loss of energy in the second half, it seems like, for the team. I mean, I think a home game will definitely help, having the fans back. Alumni's
Red Bandana game.
It'll be more crowded than usual, and the fans have been
electric.
Pretty good this season anyway. Although Halfley, he's still begging the students to come up before kickoff. He said this week he really wants students to be there before kickoff again. I don't know. He might have some tough time Friday night Red Bandana game, and then coming off the NC State game the week before. The last game at home at least. That was tough. Stands emptied out in the third quarter. So
yeah, I mean, I would say I want to win games. I'd rather him not even say let's get out there and everyone get there early. I'd rather us just win a game than him come out saying I know you got to fire everyone up. Obviously,
you do got to fire everyone up.
If you're winning games, you don't have to say that. Yeah. If you're winning games, you don't have to tell people to come to the game early. That's the thing. They don't say that in Alabama.
The student section was packed for Colgate. You couldn't. Yeah. There are people in the stairway and people in the concourse still trying to get in. So that game was nuts. It was just against Colgate too. 51-zip blowout. So
yeah. I'll stand by. I wish we played better competition at the beginning of the season because I think that's a big part of the issue. I do
too.
Now.
Yeah, starting our season against 3 teams that we played is not a good way at all.
No.
You kind of get into the groove of playing subpar teams that
Temple,
Temple,
UMass, Missouri. I mean, they were an even matchup.
Missouri was solid, but their defense is atrocious. Missouri.
Yeah, even matchup. I mean, they got a tough game. So they're playing Georgia, so good luck.
We get right into playing a team like Clemson, who their quarterback, he's kind of stinks, but
yeah, he was.
They're still Clemson. They still got. One of the better defenses in the country, better running games, one of the best O-lines.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they just figured out the quarterback position, I think, obviously now
they would still be in the conversation, yeah.
They still have a chance. Do they have a chance at the ACC championship? Probably not anymore.
They still have a little bit of a chance.
Probably small, yeah. But, I mean, at the national championship, no chance. And I think if they had a quarterback at the beginning of the season, they definitely could. I mean, they have talent around every side of the ball. And with all those 5-star recruits.
Yeah, they got 4-star guys, 5-star guys.
Yeah, you can't be losing games.
Up, so.
Your quarterback can't hold you back. And I'm happy they started making some shifts. I mean, now he's back in at quarterback, so They only took him out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. They brought in their backup, who was also a 4-star or a 5-star for a week, and then they didn't even do that well in that game. And they brought back DJ. It was just weird.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, they're just trying something different. When you're losing games, that's what you try to do. I think that's what we did with, Moorhead and Grossell, where if you're losing games, you try to just switch things up. Sometimes the quarterback. Sometimes it's more than that, though, and it could be your whole entire defense. It could be play calling. Look at the Giants. I mean, play calling's been a big issue. The offensive line's been a big issue. People talk about Daniel Jones. He's not the issue, but at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot more than just one thing that's the problem. And like the Giants, as I said, offensive line and play calling are big issues with, BC football. It's been obviously the defensive line getting pressure in the run defense. That's been a big issue. And then at quarterback having a big question mark of who's starting this week. I don't like having a question mark at quarterback. I'd rather just have a solid answer.
I mean, you're not wrong with there being multiple issues with our team, but I think, A1 is we could really be, I mean, the NC State game was probably a wash either way. But with consistent quarterback play, we could have beaten Louisville because that game kind of went out of our grasp in the fourth quarter. We only lost by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but I mean,
you consider that at the end of the game, too, we drove all the way down to the red zone and couldn't convert.
It felt like more than 2 touchdowns, though. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we brought it back to a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, and then we had the ball, too. So we really had a chance to tie it. And then, the Syracuse game last week, that went out of our hands fast. We, I think if we had consistent QB play, we could have easily put up 21 points.
It's tough, yeah.
What was the other game we lost? Clemson, we were one bad play away from winning that game.
Yeah.
So that's really the key to this team, I think. I don't think, we can deal with a bad Russian defense just because we always have. We've always struggled with containing mobile quarterbacks and, explosive running backs. But, solid quarterback play is something we haven't seen here in a while. So,
my boy Anthony Brown, he was solid when he was healthy.
He was solid, yeah. Staying healthy was tough.
Solid when he's healthy also. So
yeah, great QBs both.
It's tough when they both get injured. And Grossell stepped up both times and had to play, as a backup and had to step in into big situations because of that. So at the end of the day, I
still maintain that Grossell is one of the best backups in college football. So I think he's a great leader, great locker room guy. Still glad BC football has him.
Yeah, and I was always a big Anthony Brown guy. So when he went down, I mean, at least Grossell came in with some energy, and Anthony Brown's been playing great for Oregon. Actually, I think they're 4th or 5th ranked right now. I think they have a chance at the national championship.
CFP right now. So looks like they could be doing some damage out there. Ohio State too, another one of those underdog teams that I think can get a 3 or 4 seed. And that's my 4. If I had to predict today, I'm going Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, and Oregon as my 4.
Yeah.
They've all been great all season. Actually, our boy Anthony Brown today just named to the, I think it was the Golden Arm Award watch list with some of the other elite QBs. I think 7 other guys in all of college football.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see, up there with guys like Sam Hartman and Kenny Pickett. So.
Kenny Pickett, yeah, absolutely. Bryce Young's having a great year also.
Yeah, a lot of elite
quarterbacks on that list. So
put his name around it.
We'll see how it goes. I'm rooting for Anthony Brown. I'm a big fan of him. And I'm sorry for the inconvenience of hearing trying to connect to your phone and everything of the Bluetooth speaker here. We got Chris Cotillo calling in a minute, so we've been working with some technical difficulties over the past week. So hopefully we can get this speaker connected and absolutely. There we go. There you go. Happy everyone gets to hear it.
But yeah, BC football though. I think if I'm going keys to the game for this weekend, I'm going consistent passing game, and that's it. I don't think there's anything else we need to win that game. If everything else stays the way that we've played the last few weeks, I really think that'll give us, a chance to win. Because Virginia Tech, they've had an all right year, but they've been struggling. So it's definitely not out of the question that we can win this. I know I say that every week too. That I think we're going to win, but we're really that close every week. It feels like so.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your prediction score?
I'm gonna go. I feel like it's gonna be a weird score. I'm gonna go. Actually, we're not. I'm thinking because I was gonna go like 31-27, but we're not putting out 31 points. I gotta be realistic.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they could. Who knows? You never know. You gotta play well with defense. But
I'm gonna go 27-23, BC.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad.
I gotta bet for
you
my
can't.
team.
Yeah, you can't. I can't pick Virginia Tech. You can't pick Virginia Tech because obviously we're BC.
If I was putting money, it might be a different story. But.
Yeah, I was putting money. I'd probably
just for this,
something different.
BC
but,
all day.
Yeah, I think it would be a good game. I think I'd probably somewhere around there too. I would say probably like 26-23, 26-24, something like that. A couple field goals in there and stuff, and probably a missed extra point over BC football. Who knows? But
our new kickers.
Our new kickers were good. In years past, though, extra point has been a big issue. So that's why I always when I do predictions, I always factor in maybe a missed extra point because I know when Mike Hurley went to BC, I mean made like 30% of the extra points they had. So
even our freshman year too, whoever was kicking that, it was always tough.
We were always struggling. Punting too has been an issue. I mean, hey, he's got to get better. Grant Carlson.
I mean, he's been good. It's just a couple of mistakes that
last week.
The drop snap. Yeah, he had a tough punt last week too. I will say I expected better, but we've seen him play well before, so I know he knows what to do, and I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to play in all 3 phases of the game. Got to play well in all 3, and that's something we've been struggling with. You can't just have a good game defensively or offensively, and special teams. They don't have as many plays obviously as an offense does in a given week or a defense, but everything adds up every play. Mm-hmm. And if you have a bad punt, hey, that can make a big change in the game. You drop a punt like you did against NC State. I mean, hey, that
changed the whole game. Yeah, changed the whole flow, the whole momentum, whole everything. It was really after that play that our whole defense and offense too just looked demoralized. Fans started leaving. It was kind of a letdown that very moment. It really changed the whole thing. Just the whole energy in the stadium, you could feel it. Just kind of dropped. A lot of people who just left at that moment.
Yeah, it was also raining.
Felt like the game was over. Yeah, the rain added to it.
Rain didn't help.
But all that hype coming into that matchup, we're playing the number 22 team in the country. It's a Saturday night. People having a good time at tailgates. You come into the stadium ready for a great game, and it is a great game through halftime. And then all of a sudden you get to the second half, and they pull off 3 explosive touchdowns, and it's just you're sitting there in the stands saying, "What happened?"
Yeah, you can't let that happen. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to obviously, as I said, every single play matters, and giving up a special teams touchdown, that changes the game more than I think even a rushing touchdown, because there's only so minimal plays on special teams every week, and if you give a touchdown on it, you can't let that happen. So at the end of the day, we'll see how BC does, though. Obviously, we can't root against them, so with our predictions, we're obviously going to say BC's going to win.
Absolutely. But I will say I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here next week saying the same thing, that this is our week.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing. When you're a fan, I mean, the Giants are winning every game in my eyes. Yeah. The Giants are never going to lose a game in my eyes. I'll never say predicting against the Giants.
As long as we're having close. People forget, too, this is with our backup QB. This is Jeff Hafley playing with Steve Adazio's guys, too. So, you got to give him some credit for that. And he's recruiting at an all-time level. I think we're about to have a top 25 class this year, which would be the first time program history. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's exciting. I think our football team's going nowhere but up.
Absolutely. I'm with you there, and hopefully we'll see how things work out. But I know we're excited. Friday night game, no matter if you're 4-4, but even if you're 0-8, a Friday night game's a Friday night game, especially a Red Bandana game, something that's so special to BC.
Still
I know we're psyched about that.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're psyched about that. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's a nice night out. Hopefully we get a win, and there's nothing better than starting the weekend with a win, especially on a Friday night. In November too.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of energy around campus.
It'll be cold too, so everyone's got to dress warm for sure.
Yeah, I haven't had a cold game like this, I don't think. Our freshman year, the latest game we had was the Florida State game, and that was early November 9th, I want to say, and it was noon, so it wasn't that bad.
Here we go.
But here we go. We got
Here we go. Make sure it connects here to the speaker. All right, here we go. We have Chris Cotillo coming on with us. As I said before, he's a MassLive.com beat writer for the Red Sox. We're very excited to have him on and talk some Red Sox, UNC, and also he can come on and talk maybe the Patriots if he wants to too. We'll see. So
anything.
Give a quick breakdown. Give a quick intro. Chris actually does a workshop online for young aspiring journalists. I actually took the workshop, and you get to learn about the writing part of journalism. So he actually has his own podcast as well through MassLive.com. You get to hear about that. He gives you a lot of stuff about breaking news, since he actually started out. He's very well known, actually, in the MLB industry. He broke a couple of signings, actually, when he was in high school. He beat Ken Rosenthal and John Heyman and Jeff Passan, all the guys at ESPN and Fox Sports and MLB Network. He beat them to the Doug Fister signing with the Nationals. So he was only in high school when he started in the industry, and ever since then, he's been playing a big role in journalism. He went to UNC for journalism as well, so it's nice to have him come on. Here he is, Chris.
Welcome, Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, it's a nice intro. I'm the age of 26, so.
You're not washed up at all. You're just starting. You're not even in your prime yet. Come on, you're not even in your prime, Chris.
That's a good way of looking at it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, as I said, he does a workshop. So, if anyone's a young aspiring journalist that's listening, they can reach out to him. His email is by Chris Cotillo, COTILLO @gmail.com. Or check out his Twitter, too. I mean, he recaps every Red Sox game and every big play since he's a beat writer. So definitely reach out to him there. It's a great way to start and break into the industry. That's where I started. He gave me a ton of knowledge, and I enjoyed every single class. It's on Zoom as well, so if people want to join, it's definitely a great way to find a hole into whole industry and learn how sports journalism and everything works. So thank you for coming on, Chris. We're psyched to have you.
Yeah, anytime.
So we can start. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe your background, where you started with obviously breaking news, and you were covering the whole MLB before you even started just beat writing for the Red Sox. So maybe just a quick intro.
Yeah, basically, I was a high schooler in Central Mass in Northborough, and I grew up always liking baseball and always kind of wanted to get into it in some way, shape, or form. And after my playing career ended at about 12 years old because I had to try to find different ways to do it.
There you go.
Getting onto the business side of things made some sense for me, and I started writing for SB Nation MLB Daily Dish while I was in high school, and as you said, wrote some stories and worked for SB Nation the whole time through college in Chapel Hill. And when I got out, Mass Lab had an opening for a Red Sox beat job, and I applied and took it. So it's worked out. It's been a fun start to the career, and now basically I cover everything the Red Sox do, from games to free agent signings to trades to all that comes with the team. So right now it's a little bit of downtime after a long season, but I'm sure it'll pick up in a week or so when free agent stuff starts flying and option decisions and all that. And this weekend they'll start.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Red Sox could have used you off the bench. We were bringing in Travis Shaw and who else do we have?
Danny
Danny Santana. Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of. Danny Santana's pitcher. They could have had you.
Mm-hmm.
Get you the bat.
The way Danny Santana played all season, I really, I'm sure he was an upgrade over me, but it did not seem like it was that bad.
No, it did not. That's what I'm saying. They could have used you in there. Get your bat out, get the glove out. I mean, you said you stopped base on you at 12, but hey, the Red Sox didn't look like they could hit it all in the last 3 games of the series. I mean, I think it was the last 26 innings.
Yeah, it was ever since Game 5. Everything
was something nuts.
Apart.
I had a statistic last week. We got outscored 25-1.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Game 4, actually. We were up, 6-1, 6-2 or something then.
Yeah, we blew everything. We gave by 7 runs in the 9th or whatever. Yeah, Chris. So we definitely could have used you. Maybe you can even come out of the pen next year. Who knows? See if Cora has a contract for you.
That's right. I fastball maxes out at 55, and we're screaming in pain. So
right, that's fine. Any pitch matters, right? One pitch you make it. You're far out of your prime. You're not even in your prime yet, so you're not washed up for sure. I know that. But we'll get into some talk about the Red Sox. So with the Red Sox hitting coach, Chris High is declining to return to the Sox. Do you think that will play an impact on some of the guys that have breakout seasons and bounce-back seasons? So breakout seasons like Hunter Renfroe and Kike Hernandez had career years, and J.D. Martinez had a big bounce-back season after the 2020 tough season. So do you think that's going to have an impact on some of the Red Sox hitters?
I don't know. I think there's going to be continuity there because Pete Fatsi is going to be the one replacing Tim
Yeah.
there. So it's going to be, a guy who's been there the last 2 years and knows all these guys and, knows all the guys that you mentioned. So, I think that obviously helps. They might add another person on the staff. I know the Red Sox were super surprised by Hires' decision to leave. Not sure exactly what he's going to do or where he's going to go. He's been, an instrumental part of their success offensively in the last 4 years. So
Definitely.
But it's just the hitting coaches and pitching coaches, those types of guys, they help within the margins. But at the end of the day, the guys got to go out there and make the adjustments and find stuff in their own swings and look at video. So good hitting coach is going to help. A bad hitting coach might detract a little bit, but I'm not sure that it's a major deal, especially with his assistant basically, taking over.
Yeah, absolutely. Fatsi's
sure,
coming in, so that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm. So Chris, speaking of star hitters, if you had to choose between the Red Sox signing Schwarber and JD, who would you choose and how come?
Yeah, I'm a fan of JD Martinez. I think the deal that they gave him was a phenomenal contract for the Red Sox. It paid off. He's an all-star in 3 of the 4 all 3 years, all 3 of the full seasons. The 2020 season, 60 games. He never got going. Had a bad year. There wasn't an all-star team, so obviously he wouldn't have made it. But there wasn't one, so he could not make it. So I just think if you look back at that deal, it's been super successful for the Red Sox. They've gotten everything they could have possibly asked out of him, not just as his as himself, but also as just a teammate and the impact he has with the other hitters. That being said,
Absolutely.
he's going to be 35 in August. And if you really look at the year he had, it's, it looks like a great bounce back year, as you mentioned. It looks like a guy who, found something and had it the entirety of the year. So on May 1st, I pulled this up so I have numbers to back up my
There you go. I love it.
May 1st, he's hitting 361 with an 1189 OPS. So, just a ridiculous first 26 games. 9 homers, 26 RBI.
He was mashing.
And then you go from May 2nd till the end of the season, and he was pretty much average. He was a guy that, from, like I said, May 2nd to October 3rd, here it is, hit 271, 800 OPS, 19 homers, 73 RBI. That's a guy who is a league average, slightly above average hitter, and you're giving him, $20 million a year. So
absolutely,
the April skews the final numbers, and I don't know if teams are going to really recognize that on the open market because they're going to might look at it in total and all that type of stuff. But I think that he's a guy that at 34, almost 35, I don't think the Red Sox would be super upset to let him walk, and if he does opt out, I think they do want Kyle Schwarber back just because. He seemed to be
had a great season,
seemed to be a perfect fit. He just seemed to be a guy that fit in the clubhouse well, fit in the city of Boston well. And obviously, positionally, it was a work in progress at first. They had to move him around and stuff. There was one thing last week about how it doesn't seem like the two of them can coexist on the roster, but
can't. Yeah, I'm with you there. That's why
I made it work in the playoffs at least.
So
against the Rays.
Go with Schwarber, but that decision is not up to the Red Sox. It's really up to JD Martinez.
And if he opts out.
Opt in or opt out in the next 5 days. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it could change for sure. And I know you still have to pay Bogarts at some point if he only has a year left till he's going to opt out realistically. And then you got Devers too, who's going to need an extension at some point also. So if you had to choose, between signing Schwarber and JD or just saving that money and going all out on Bogarts and Devers for the future, what do you think the Red Sox are going to do? Because I know at some point you're going to have to pay Devers and Bogarts. So it's going to be a big decision.
It's an impossible question right now because we don't know how the collective bargaining agreement that expires on November 1st, what that's going to look like moving forward. So if they have a more strict salary cap where you get more punishments for going over, let's say, $175 million or $200 million, the Red Sox are going to have to make some tough decisions. There's a world in which that new CBA really punishes the big market teams, and now all of a sudden you can't have Bogarts and Devers and a Schwarber or Martinez. So that'll be fascinating to watch, and how that CBA shakes out. The higher that threshold is, the better for the Red Sox and better for the other big market teams. And those owners are going to obviously push for that, but we'll see what everybody's going to agree on it. So we'll see what ends up happening there. So, Devers needs to be a priority in my mind. Bogarts, face of the franchise and all that. I think, he's probably not going to be crazy about wanting to switch positions. They're going to probably want to talk to him about doing that.
Absolutely.
But
it'll be interesting. I definitely think at some point, as you said, you're going to have to pay some of those, bigger guys like Bogarts and Devers are more for the future. I know JD's 35 also. I think Schwarber's 28, right? So Schwarber's, he's not 35 like JD is. At some point you have to pay the younger guys like Bogarts and Devers, and Bogarts is actually not too young anymore. What is he now? Probably around the same age as Schwarber is. But you're going to have to pay those guys at some point. So, yeah, as you were saying, you're going to have to make some tough decisions. And are there any specific free agents or a specific position you would say the Red Sox should target this offseason?
I think they need to figure out second base as well as Christian Arroyo played. He only played in 57 games. There's a lot of different things that he's not a guy that you can completely rely on moving forward just because he has an injury history in 2022. We'll see what the COVID protocols are, but there is as a guy who you're going to need depth at all those positions. Obviously, I think they're going to probably try to get some more depth at second base. They're going to try to get, shore that position up a little bit. Obviously, a guy like Marcus Semien would be a fit there.
That'd be awesome.
Somebody like that.
That'd be awesome. Either one.
I'd love to have him.
It depends. Those guys are going to probably get big deals, and it depends on how much they feel they can spend.
Definitely. Jose Iglesias would be under the radar. I'd like to bring him back. I think he had a great, month.
He played solid in
absolutely
September.
Gave a big spark to the team. Hopefully the Sox give him an offer. We'll see how that goes. Obviously,
brought a lot of energy too. He was always pushing guys in the cart in the dugout.
Absolutely, awesome he became a big part of the team in only that 1 month. So hopefully we give him a contract. We'll see though, but depends on. He won't get too much money. We'll have money to spend there. But if you were going to sign Simeon, like you said, Javi Baez, obviously Jose Iglesias would be coming back. So,
well, maybe. I mean, you got a guy who can play anywhere in the infield. He can play second and short, be a good defensive
that's true.
backup, and Alex Cora loves him. He's only going to cost you $1 million or $2 million. So
yeah,
it's not like Simeon or one of those guys would rule him out though. That might squeeze out Arroyo. So there's probably a lot of moving parts there.
Definitely, absolutely. So, got all our Red Sox talking. Now we can switch to some UNC. As I was saying, as Chris was saying, he was a graduate of UNC, so he's a big UNC football and basketball fan. So, figured he'd come on, talk a little ACC, UNC basketball, football, and see where we start. Absolutely, yeah. You can start with the Cruz.
Yeah, a lot going on with the ACC football. So, Chris, have you been paying attention? Tough loss to Notre Dame last week. How do you feel about the game coming in against Wake Forest this week? Top 10 matchup.
Well, you guys will think I never do any work by this answer, but I was at that game and I'll be at the Wake game too. So.
Oh, there you go.
Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah, Notre Dame was a fun trip in terms
of
everything else except for the actual
the game.
The actual game, yeah, it was interesting when I booked that in June and thinking the Red Sox had no chance of making it, or July.
I remember you saying that.
The World Series, yeah.
I remember we talking about that in August. You said you were trying to go to a game and saying hopefully the Red Sox don't make it. You were hoping. I mean, you were hoping you were able to still go and have the Red Sox obviously do well. It ended up working out there. You ended up making the game.
Yeah, at that point I don't care if the Red Sox win or lose. Obviously,
strictly UNC.
But yeah, I was joking with my friends all week. Jordan Alvarez allowed me to go on that trip.
So you have to thank him. If you ever have him in a one-on-one, if the Red Sox play in Houston, actually, you have to thank him.
Yeah. So, but no, it was a fun postseason run. But I'm glad that I got to. I paid for that trip, so I'm glad that I got to go.
There you go.
Other than the loss, and this week they're somehow favored by 2.5. I don't know what they've done to deserve.
It's awesome.
Against the top 10 team in Wake, so they're going to absolutely not cover that and not win the game. But I'll be there to watch what will happen again. So,
hey, you're there to support though.
They got a shot. You guys got some talent.
It's at UNC too.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, what I've been saying all year is, at least. They're a top 10 team heading into the year. They were 10, and then they realized that they're Carolina football, so they realized they couldn't possibly be a top 10 team. They lose to Virginia Tech. They lose week 1, so it's like, oh, the polish is already off. Like they lose a winnable game they should have won, even though it was a tough road game. Like they lose. So now okay, well the dream is dead. So there's no expectations anymore. And then they lose to Georgia Tech in a game they're favored by 15. So
yeah, that was tough.
So now you're fighting for a bowl game. But for me, I had expectations that at the best year they could fight for a playoff spot. And
who knows? Yeah.
And now because they again are UNC football and they're not capable of that, what I'm hoping is they go 6-6 and they make the Fenway Bowl just for convenience sake.
That'd be awesome. I saw you tweeting about that.
I don't even know if we'll be eligible at this point.
I saw you tweet about that. That would be awesome. I know you were saying during the year you had high expectations. Maybe you talking during the summer, and you're a big Sam Howell fan, if I remember right.
Yeah, Sam Howell was.
What do you think of him?
Second or third favorite guy to win the Heisman this year, and it's you could get 4. We could pick 4 random guys off the street, and they would be about the same as the offensive line is for them. So it's not Sam Howell's fault.
That's it. The Giants too.
The defense is horrendous. So, that's his part of it. But no, I don't know. They're just always the same thing. Last year they made the Orange Bowl, which is kind of cool, but they reverted right back to big expectations. But you know what? They actually have a top 20. This will matter because they'll find a way to screw it up again. But they actually have a top 20 recruiting class the next 3 years. And so and Drake May, a 5-star quarterback coming in, who committed from Bama to Chapel Hill, which he's probably regretting. So that'll be fun to watch, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think Sam Howell's having a good year. He has 19 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing, or 5 rushing, so 24, 25 touchdowns in
he's
8
well.
games.
I think he can still go up high in the NFL draft. That's
definitely.
It's not a good year.
Yeah, it's not his fault, but with UNC basketball,
you guys are still putting up points. So
you guys got good teams at basketball and football. 4-4. Obviously, having higher expectations, 4-4 isn't the best. But considering, in the ACC, everyone's pretty even with Clemson having a tough season. I think everyone's, pretty even after that. So
Yeah,
being 4-4
ACC
is not
is wide
bad.
open at this point.
Definitely, yeah. So being 4-4,
even
I
Wake,
mean,
they haven't really had
you're right in the
any
middle.
big wins yet. So.
But we'll transition to UNC basketball. So with Hall of Fame coach Roy Williams retiring after 3 national championships and 18 seasons, how do you think the program will look this season? Will it feel the same? I know you went to so many college basketball games and you were at UNC. I think you even went to a few afterwards also. So how do you think the program will look, and will it feel different? I'm sure it will.
Yeah, it's already, I kind of forget. I'll forget for a couple weeks. I guess in the back of my mind, I'll always know that Roy retired, and I'll see on Instagram like, head coach Hubert Davis meeting with students today. Like, what did they just say? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hubert Davis, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of turnover. They have three big time transfers. Dawson Garcia from Marquette.
I saw that.
Brady Manick from Oklahoma and Justin McCoy from Virginia. So
I was reading about a couple of them.
Some returners and
some big programs.
they'll have a veteran team, which is good. So
definitely
they'll be they're ranked 19th. They usually play poorly in the non-conference and have a couple inexplicable losses in January and then turn it on in February and make a run in March. So
that's it.
I don't know if Hubert's going to follow that exact same Roy formula, or if they're actually be good in non-conference play. I hope they will be, because I have tickets to see them too. And
definitely.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're playing at Mohegan Sun, and it's a ridiculous tournament against Purdue, Villanova.
Wow. All the top dogs.
Yeah, there's some big teams in there.
4 top 20 teams are playing at Mohegan Sun. The tickets are $20 for, they're $40 for 4 games. So that's just,
it's not bad at all.
It's a great get. But,
absolutely.
They play well there. But, yeah, we'll see. It'll be different for sure. And, I'm looking forward to it. I love college hoops, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be at the BC game. They play at BC on January 1st. I'm sure you'll be there for that game. I know you.
January 1st at noon is just...
That's a tough time for a game, yeah.
There you go. Hey, it's a noon game.
At that game.
I was like, I'll be over there with 4 Gatorades ready to go.
Ready to go.
Pedialyte in the stands. Let's go.
Absolutely. I know you were mad about the COVID season ruining your chances to see Sam Howell last year at BC. So I'm sure you're psyched to at least see you in basketball here.
But don't worry, Joey. They'll be back there in 16 years, so that'll be very.
I'm sure you'll be psyched then. You'll be counting down the days.
Yeah.
Hey, you might be hitting your prime around then. You're not there yet, so you could be hitting your prime then. Who knows?
42 at that point.
Absolutely.
Pretty sad to go to games at that point.
And they play at UNC January 26th. So, hey, maybe you can make that too. I'm sure if your schedule's open, I know you'll be there. But I know the Red Sox could have went to meetings or something then, and that might be tough. But I know you'll be there if you can.
Probably won't be a game anyway.
Yeah, it won't be a game. We know BC by there. It won't be a game.
40.
Me and Chris were talking this before that probably won't be a game. But I'm sure he'll be there and he's rooting on UNC. I'm rooting on BC, but I mean, it won't be a game. Definitely, they have too much talent. So at the end of the day, at least you get to see UNC locally. No matter who they're playing. So that Mohegan Sun one would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Purdue and Villanova.
Some big teams, yeah. We played Villanova in a tournament last year. We actually hung in there, and then the season fell apart. Of course.
Yeah, first game. I mean, hey, anything can happen in the first game of the year. It's a tough game.
Oh man.
BC played too well. They covered, and I lost.
Yeah, BC only lost by 2 or 3. I think it was closer to 5, maybe.
We were good in December for whatever reason last year, and then everything just kind of
once COVID hit the whole team, we all fell off, and I mean, it was a tough season for a lot of teams.
You know what? Obviously, that hurt the team and the players getting sick and all that's most important. But there was obviously no fans let in, but I was going to cover as a media member Carolina playing there, and it was.
There you go.
Roy was sitting at 899 wins. They obviously would have, demolished BC. And
definitely,
That would have been his 900th win, and the COVID, they canceled it and never rescheduled it. So
that's the worst.
Yeah.
That would have been a dream come true.
I kept getting screwed out of seeing them last year, so I got a lot of opportunities now, which is good.
You got your redemption this year, which is nice, and at least you got to go see that game against Notre Dame, and now you'll see Wake this weekend. So hopefully it's a big win this weekend at Wake. I mean, hey, I'll be headlines. We'd have to have you on next week again to recap the game if they win that. Definitely. But we'll let you go, Chris. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It meant a lot having you on for sure, and you brought a ton of insight into the Red Sox and UNC, ACC sports in general. So thank you so much. We'll definitely have you on again. And as I said before, if anyone wants to check out his journalism workshop, sports journalism workshop, check out his Twitter, Chris Cotillo. And then also his email is by Chris Cotillo gmail.com. It's a great way to break into the industry, as I said. 3 classes online, 2 hours each. And you also have a one-on-one with them, and he also gives you a 40-page PDF about the entire sports journalism industry that I've actually been using for this podcast, actually, and even for my sports writing class. So if anyone wants to check it out, definitely reach out to him. I'm sure he'll be happy to have you, and he'll definitely welcome you in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, Chris.
You.
Have a good one. Take it easy. Thank you, my guy.
Alrighty, that was awesome. Right now we're waiting on another one of our esteemed guests, JD, John Dziwura.
Yes,
he's coming to talk BC hockey. He's trying to find the room right now.
Yeah, it'd be tough. It's tough way to maneuver around here. I mean, in order to call in, you actually have to do FaceTime audio because there's no service down here.
We're trying to figure out the phone.
We do have a phone here that people could call in on. We just don't know really how to use it, so that's why we've been doing FaceTime.
It's a work in progress.
I know
we had less
JD,
technical difficulties this week than last
JD's
week.
underground right now trying to find this, so I understand why it's taking a while. But having Chris come on is awesome. As I said, I took his workshop in July and August, and I learned a ton. And I also have a 40-page PDF from him, as I said, about sports writing, podcasting, beat writing in general. I even gave him some of the articles that I've written in the past, and he was able to help me with it and edit it. So it's a great way to break into the industry, as I said, to learn a lot. You get a lot of experience from him, and he's also there whenever you need it. As you see, he came on tonight and was psyched to come on and give us some insight into North Carolina, ACC sports in general, and the Red Sox, and gave us all his background too. And he's pretty well known in the industry too, in baseball. All the guys, John Heyman, Ken Rosenthal, they all know him pretty well. So Chris Rose also runs a Chris Rose rotation. He has a great podcast I've listened to a ton. Chris Cotillo has the best connection, so it's definitely a great way to start, and you learn a lot, and it's worth it. It's only 3 classes too, and I can tell you right now, it's definitely worth it. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Hopefully people join. Hopefully JD comes in too.
I hope.
He's here at some point.
While he's trying to find his way around Mac, I just want to bring it up. What is going on with the Celtics? I wanted to bring it up at some point tonight. A little frustrated. Tough start to the season. It's like every other game every game at this point we're losing. Blew that game to Chicago Monday night. We were watching that. We were up, 16 points or something it
was nuts.
At the end of the third, and just, everything slipped away. There was no ball movement in the fourth. Marcus Smart's comments after the game saying Brown and Tatum need to learn how to pass. I might kind of agree with him.
Oh, I'm with him there.
I got to see a few more games. It's only been, 6 or 7 games this season.
I'm with him.
I love my Celtics, and it's hard to see this start to the season.
We're 0-3 for the first time at home in the Celtics' 75-year history. Think about that. 0-3 in their first time. The first time we've ever been 0-3 at home in 75 years of the franchise, and we're 0-3. It's just ridiculous. And if you look at it, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both declined to talk after the game. It was a tough loss, obviously, losing in the fourth quarter of the Bulls, and we were up 17, I think, at the end of the third, and we ended up blowing it. You can't let that happen. You can't let a team go on a run like that. And tonight's 11-point fourth quarter. This was a tweet from the other night. Tonight's 11-point fourth quarter was the Celtics' lowest scoring quarter since November 10th of 2017. That's another thing. I mean, you can't score 11 points. I mean, no matter how much you're up in the game. You can't score 11 points in a quarter.
Not in the fourth quarter, especially when you got all the talent that we do.
Dude, yeah.
Jason Tatum,
it's nuts.
Jaylen Brown, we got Schroeder, Marcus Smart. They're all guys that can play ball.
Robert Williams. I mean, we didn't have a defensive rebound in the fourth quarter of that game. It's just ridiculous. You're not going to win any game like that, and I was very disappointed. And I agree with Marcus Smart. The Celtics have to learn how to pass. I favor Jaylen Brown over Tatum. I know most people
disagree.
would agree
we'll
with
talk about
Celtics
next
Nation,
week.
I would favor Jaylen Brown over Jason Tatum. I would. I don't like his step-back threes, off-balance threes. I don't like any of that.
I don't like that either, but
fadeaway,
you can't win without a guy like that. You need an alpha scorer on the squad. So.
I mean, Jaylen Brown was shooting with both feet on the ground and wasn't having a good quarter, so it doesn't really make a difference.
And now, actually, we just brought in our esteemed guest, John Dziwura, BC hockey fanatic. We're very excited to have him on. Welcome, JD. How's it going?
What's up? How are you guys doing? Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on.
So, thank you for coming on.
I had to come on. Listen to the first podcast. I was blown away.
You loved it.
Oh, thanks, man.
With your insight.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate it.
All right, we're happy to have you come on. He's a hockey guru. So he knows everything. College hockey.
Follows everything. Hockey. Yeah, loves the Detroit Red Wings.
Big
BC
Red Wings
hockey,
fan.
too.
BC women's and men's hockey. Goes to every
couple
game.
of recent big wins for BC hockey, huh? University of Denver. What do you think?
The main person who stuck out to me in that game was Nikita.
Okay.
Dop, he was all right.
Dop had an all right game.
All right. I expect a lot from Dop, but Nikita, we got to get to the puck to Nikita Nestorenko. The guy's got a magic hand. magic stick, get the puck to him, we win.
All right. Hey, that's the keys to the game. I mean, he's been nice, too. He had a couple of goals in, what was it, the Colorado College game? I can't remember, but he was kind of going off.
He gets a goal about every game.
Yeah. He was nice. Feed him the puck. I mean, he's putting up goals, yeah.
Get him the puck, he'll find the back of the net.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we lost to Vermont 5-4 last week, which can't happen.
Yeah, we've had a weird season for winning these big games like Northeastern and, U Denver, and then we're dropping these games to U Vermont and Bentley. So.
6-2.
We didn't play Dom that game.
We didn't play Dom.
Oh, okay. That must have been
Dom's our guy.
That's your second favorite player, right?
Yeah, I know. We got to stick to Dop.
We do.
We didn't play Dop last year. You see how that turned out. Mm-hmm. Now we're back to Dop.
He was a transfer, wasn't he? Bowling Green? So, I mean...
He needs to be in there. JD could be in there, too. Actually, JD's one of the best goalies I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh, JD could be in net.
He can be anything, yeah.
JD could be in net. The kid's impossible to score on. He's unreal. Floor hockey, JD was
first
MVP in the
team
league.
Goalie, yeah.
Unreal.
So.
Probably, if you look at his stats, he probably had like 450 saves and let up 6 goals. No, not even exaggerating. It was probably
we had no defense, and he was probably putting up 90 saves. And
90 saves a game.
Can't ask for anything else.
So Dop and then
Almost
JD.
lost to the chip.
Dop and John. There you go. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win.
Yeah, you could run back up.
It's a win.
Might need you as an assistant coach too under Jerry York. Get your guys in the game.
JD could give some insight to the game that they're not realizing. JD goes every game.
We're getting some beautiful insight right now.
I'm the only fan who goes to the women's game. Now I'm kind of disappointed to see the lack of BC students at the games.
I know.
They're working hard, but they don't have the support.
At least
how are they looking this year?
They had a tough game against Northeastern. They were undefeated.
Yeah.
They lost Northeastern, but
that was a tough game. I read about that.
Northeastern's a good team though. They're always ranked pretty high.
You heard about it? You didn't go to it?
Yeah. We did not go. We have to make it to a game though, so we can actually analyze.
Yeah, we'll be there, and then another week we'll have to come back and talk about.
I should have went to that game. It was Northeastern. Yeah, honestly, probably could have. They have a good team. They lost in the national championship last year, the women's team. But yeah, JD goes to every game.
Yeah,
men's and
JD's
women's.
a fanatic. Yeah, he's at every BC men's and women's hockey game.
Absolutely. Yeah, he knows it all. So, Dop. All right, who else is a key player? I mean, you said Dop, Nikita.
Did you say Nikita?
Yeah,
Nikita, of course.
So who's if you had to pick your big three from the team,
big three.
So you got Nikita, Dop, and who else?
I'd say Jerry.
Okay, I kind of like that.
It all sounds for the man himself. He knows the program. He's been here longer than we've been alive.
Yeah, he's been here for years. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And he's had a lot of
national championships, hockey
great history.
Yeah,
definitely, he's had a great history, and that's the thing.
Over 1,000 wins in his career. Yeah, I mean. Not many coaches can say
legend. We gotta get JD to meet him, then JD could maybe get into it.
Yeah, maybe he'll meet.
Great autograph.
Get a picture with him.
Yeah,
he might ask you for a picture. You're just as much of a legend.
Yeah, he might sign you to the team actually. If he sees your floor hockey highlights.
No joke. Like literally, JD's unreal in floor hockey. You can't score on him. Mm-hmm. I honestly think you could take some of the players on the men's team here and just have them try to shoot, and they might not even score. Being serious, so
we gotta get you can hang with anyone in that. So
if they ever have a tryout, JD's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta get you to the student walk-ons over the summer.
JD's there. Yeah. Definitely. He's been killing it. In floor hockey.
Speaking of BC hockey, JD, how you feeling about the upcoming game at Merrimack this weekend?
Who?
The BC game at Merrimack?
What's Merrimack?
The college. Do you not know?
Heard of them. All right. I mean,
that's one way to put it. We were talking about this at lunch the other day, but it's all right.
Yeah, Merrimack. It's
going to be a blowout.
You think? Let's go. Merrimack's right by me.
We play Nikita, we win.
Merrimack's 3-5, so they haven't had a great season. They got 4 points in the Hockey East right now.
They're not bad. They can.
7.
I feel like any team in the Hockey East can still play.
I'm with 4-3-1. Yeah, so we're not much better than 3-5.
Tough game at UVM last weekend. So
you can't lose to UVM. UVM's 1-5. They got one win in the season against us. So
and the other one was overtime.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It's tough. You can't lose to them, especially they had 9 goals or 8 goals all season. They scored 5 in that game against BC, the one they beat us. So you can't let that happen. You can't lose to UVM, especially giving up 5 goals. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a
third
quarter
night.
breakdown.
We won Saturday night.
Third period. What am I saying? Yeah, that was a tough game. Cause, I checked Twitter. We were up 3-1 or 4-1 or something, and then you check it 2 hours later, and it's BC Hockey blows a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's just what's going on.
Can't let that happen. It's a doubleheader versus Merrimack.
Right after that was a game after beating one of the top teams in the country too, University of Denver.
They're good. Yeah, I mean you got a doubleheader now against Merrimack. You can straighten things out against them. That'd be good. So
yeah, bring the record back. I mean, we're still a good team. It's not like we've gotten blown out in any of these games, and we've had some quality wins so far. So I'm not worried with the season. Yeah,
I mean, I think honestly, as JD was saying, if Dop has a big game, anything's possible after that. Truly, I mean, if your goalie's in sync, and he's locked in, I don't think BC's going to have too many bad games. You obviously got to score, but if you're only giving up 1 goal a game, 2 goals a game, you should win for BC, especially with all the playmakers we have and all the guys that want to score. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. A lot of guys going to the NHL. Trevor Kuntar, my boy, going to the Bruins.
Yep. Talked about him last week. Talked about him last week with Mike Hurley, yeah.
Yeah, I think he could be something special. He looks really good this year. Excited for the team.
Definitely, yeah. So, JD, what are your predictions for the end of the season for BC hockey? Let's say right now you're going to give a prediction what's going to happen by the end of the season. What is it? What's your outlook? What do you think the team's going to be like?
Given that Dopp stays healthy,
Okay.
I think we can contend for a Hockey East tournament. NCAA, I think, is a little out of hand.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I respect that. I mean, we'll see how it goes, obviously. It's a long season. How many more games? I mean, they got this weekend.
We probably got 35 games.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of games. So as long as he stays healthy and plays 25 games, I mean, hey, should be fine.
Yeah,
He'll probably play
right
25, 30 maybe. Who knows? Probably give him a few games off, obviously. But
I'm sure we can hang with anyone in the Hockey East, too. Being in Northeastern 5-3 the other weekend.
Tough game, yeah.
Tough for you, yeah. But
Roll skis, yeah. That was a tough game. But that's the thing. At the end of the
still,
day,
I mean, we can play with anyone in the Hockey East, I think. That game.
Yeah, and it's a long season, and you play in the Hockey East, you're playing against the best teams in the country. A lot of them at least. Great competition. So stay healthy against them. I mean, JD thinks they could win the Hockey East, so
Definitely not the Bean Pot.
There you have it.
Bean
Not the
Pot,
Bean
no,
Pot?
Northeastern.
Oh, man,
I got
You don't
Northeastern.
have a chance in the Bean Pot.
Yeah, you can check me
That's
in right
fair.
now. Northeastern's
Sorry,
winning the
Bean
Bean
Pot's
Pot.
just a,
Probably.
I'm already giving my
it's a fraud
predictions.
tournament anyway.
Northeastern's beating the Bean. Northeastern win the Bean
Just
Pot.
fun
Be
to
that
go,
fourth
so.
in a row. I got Jordan Harris, big redemption game, having a goal for Northeastern. So that's a prediction. We were
All right, yeah, BC to Northeastern.
3
round
months
one.
out. 3 months
this
out.
Bean Pot, so.
February 4th or 5th, whatever it is. Either way,
Second, I think.
second,
At the Garden.
something like that. We're
That'll
3
be
months out.
midnight.
I'm giving my
You
prediction
have to
right
cover
now.
up your
though.
jacket again. You'll be wearing the Northeastern sweatshirt.
I will be wearing
Walk out with it
Northeastern.
zipped up.
I have my reasons though. My family and I have been Northeastern fans forever, so I'll be rolling with the
It's gonna be a
skis.
tough ride home that night.
Oh, we won 3 straight years now. 3 straight Bean Pots. There was one last year. It'll be 4 in a row. We're going 5 right now, so we'll be good though. 3 in a row though, as I said. And so going for the 4th quadruple. Let's go. But I'm
Should be
psyched,
exciting.
though. Bean Pot will be
Absolutely, the
good.
Bean Pot this year.
I can't sit in the BC student section of that game. Although I'd root for BC hockey when they're playing any other team, but when they play Northeastern, I'm locked in Northeastern. But you guys
Yeah,
are respecting
family, I
that.
guess.
Yeah, I'm a very loyal fan, even though my affiliations are all over the place. I'm very
Well,
loyal.
I
Very
knew
fair.
that when you didn't show up to half the BC hockey games.
Hey, now I go to a
Oh,
lot of the
there
BC
we
hockey
go.
games. I go to
I
a
like
lot
that.
of BC hockey games. You don't got to say that, Gene. I go to a ton of games. I'm always there at them. So, what can you do though? I mean, if Northeastern's playing in BC, I'm going to be rolling with Northeastern. But then at the end of the day, I
That's
can't
fair,
lose though,
yeah.
right? I can't lose either way. So, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think both teams are going to have a great season. We'll see what happens in the Bean Pot. Either way, it's going to be close. Hockey East, too, I think. I mean, if I had to give my pick for the Hockey East, I would go BC over Northeastern, obviously.
Oh,
You might
Northeastern.
disagree.
Yeah, Jordan
but
Harris and the
looking
boys.
forward to the season, so should
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm psyched. Definitely excited to see how it plays. As JD, the man himself, said, he's got BC winning the Hockey East, so can't expect anything less. I mean, JD knows the game better than anyone. He goes to every
Let's
game,
go.
as I said. Women's hockey. Give us a quick
Student of
prediction
the
there.
game.
We got another minute. Give us a quick prediction. Women's hockey. How they going to finish the
Oh,
Hockey East.
women here are elite.
you
They're
go.
on a different level. They're going all the way.
You
All
think
right.
national championship?
I think so. They'll lose like maybe 2 more games this season. They're
Wow,
unstoppable.
okay.
You
All
guys
right.
should check them out.
We'll have to start getting into some more of those games. Let's go.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I mean, I definitely feel like it's a great way to get more involved with BC athletics. I mean, JD goes to every game. He's always there. So
Mhm.
anything
Yeah,
you
we'll
root
be
for
there
the
the next
Eagles.
one. Absolutely.
I know JD's root for the Eagles every game.
Go
so
Eagles.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on, JD. It was great to have you and talk BC hockey.
Thank
Yeah,
you guys
Jimmy.
for having me. I'll be here all week.
All right, there you go.
Sweet.
We'll have you come back on for sure. So this is it. About that time now. I just want to thank everyone for listening to the Playbook with Joey and Zach. We'll be back on next week, Wednesday night, November 10th from 7 to 8. As I always say, a few quick shout-outs.
Shout out to Daniel P.
Daniel P. Okay, well, shout out Daniel P. Shout out to
Yeah,
the
shout out
O'Malley's, my
Dan.
boy Steven. Jet Boston. Thank you guys for everything you guys do. You guys do great things. Shout out to April also. My whole family, friends, for everyone
Good
listening.
all. Let's see your family. Jeez.
I always give my shout-outs. You know that. Just want to thank everyone for listening. We invite you guys to listen and join again next week, as I said, November 10th.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you to Chris for also coming on as well.
Yeah,
He did
big
awesome.
thanks to Chris. That was great.
Definitely
Thank
have him
you,
on
Chris.
again. Definitely have Chris come on again. He was awesome.
Chris is a beast.
We got to have Chris come on and talk about the players because he knows all the players better than anyone. I mean, he's
He does,
interviewing
yeah,
them
I
all
mean-
the time, so he knows all the boys on the team.
He
so
knows the whole
definitely
league
him.
really well, so yeah, that was great having
He has
him.
his connections.
A
So
lot of
definitely have him
insight,
come on
yeah.
and give some more insight. But as I said, thank you everyone for listening. And we can't close it out. Can't close out the week without congratulating the Braves on a big World
absolutely,
Series run. We
big
should have
World
mentioned that
Series
more.
win.
We can recap that next week. And then also,
Yeah, we still got a lot to talk about.
mentioning
Going
Jerry
out,
Remy, the passing of Jerry Remy, and how important he was to Red Sox Nation and Boston sports as a whole. I know in our whole lifetime, he's everything the Red Sox. You think Jerry Remy, so he'll be missed tremendously. Red Sox Nation, nesting games, nothing will ever be the same without him. And hopefully they change Jersey Street's name. Sign me up for that petition right now, changing Jersey Street's name to Jerry Remy Way, because no one else deserves it more than him. So I wanted to mention that earlier. I'm happy I was able to now, and our thoughts and prayers are with the family and Jerry also. So
for sure, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming out. It's great to be back, and we're excited for next week, and we hope to see you guys there again. So
thank you guys. Absolutely. Have a great night. Take it easy. Good night to all, and we'll see you next week. Thank you again.